welcome back. I hope you're enjoying your week this week, Natasha and Ashley.
Hello.
I can hear myself. There we go. It was playing in surround sound for a minute. So today we're going to be talking about five, probably more than five ways to leverage AI in government contracting. Natasha and I spent a few minutes before the episode talking about all the different ways, and I think we were up to like 16 before we started.
Yeah,
So
I just
if
it's hard
you're
to narrow
joining
it down.
If you're joining us from the groups, pop on over to YouTube, come watch us live, chime in. Please let us know if, you're using AI already in your government contracting process. Come over and tell us how you're using it. Let's talk about it.
Hmm. I think let's kind of just go right into it because I think like the first and foremost is capability statements, marketing tools. Um, I mean, let's be real. You have ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is like incorporated in almost everything. AI is everywhere now in every software. So I would say starting from the beginning of your process, Canva. Let's bring up like things such as Canva, not them just only, but there's like a million Canvas out there, beautiful AI, Prezi. There's so many different sites and softwares that you can get that leverage AI to help you market your business and create your capability statements, your briefings, your business cards, your logos. I mean, you
Even
choose it. Have it.
like bulk content, guys. So you can take, a spreadsheet and you can pop it into Canva and bulk create images from a template that, have the words from your spreadsheet items. I've created reels from AI in there. I'm not very good at it yet, granted. But I messed around with it and it's actually pretty cool. Saves a lot of time for sure once you get good at it.
Yeah, I agree. And I have to say, like, I think it was really funny. We're starting to see ways that business owners can kind of like use AI to kind of save on costs. Um, you know, for me personally, like obviously we do proposal management in my company, but we used to have to hire a graphic artist so that we could do graphics for proposals, right? Like you wanted to do charts, you wanted to kind of like showcase your approach in a fun way and kind of break the monotony of just words all the time and letters. So you just kind of wanted to put like a cool chart or something, a graphic in there that kind of made it pop. Now you can just go on Canva, give it some words and say, I want to do this, this, and this, and make it kind of look like this with these colors. And then boom, your branding is showing up and you got yourself really cool. And I mean, I want to say that I can create graphics in less than 15 minutes now. Like now I've gotten so used to it that I don't even need a graphic artist. I'm like, give me that. I'll do that real quick. And it looks so fancy. So yeah.
And data, right? Like data tables, for
Yeah.
example. If you have a spreadsheet with your results from your past
Mhm.
performance, this is just an example. Put
Mhm.
that into AI, let it generate you a graphic that is a visual articulation. Not everything has to be words, guys. Consider
Yeah.
that too. You can get a lot across in a picture that saves a lot of space on a proposal
Mhm.
by kind of using graphs, charts, and images to get your point across.
Oh yeah. So I think that's like the first one I would bring up. Maybe I would feed into then looking up marketing opportunities, looking up opportunities in general for contracts, all the bid matching software that's out there. Now they all pretty much leverage AI. And if they don't, they are going to.
Will be, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think like GovWin, GovTribe, FedBid, I mean, they're all have these little, you can see the little stars and it's like AI.
Well, I'm going to dive way deeper into proposals here in a moment, but even before we get to proposals, I'd be I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about market research because y'all know
Mhm.
I'm a data nerd. So I actually took a market research report that I did fairly recently in the healthcare staffing space.
Mhm.
And I fed it into ChatGPT 4. So the pro subscription, I think it's like $20 a month or something. And I had it analyze the data for me and give me key features or sort of key insights. And it told me my top departments by spending, how many actions each department had, top agencies within those departments, extent of competition, determination of business size, how often those were used. These are things that I, for the last 15 years, have done pretty much manually. So there's definitely some value, especially if you're not really good with Excel and pivot tables, to
Mm,
utilizing a tool to kind of get to the answers quicker. So
yeah.
that's another way. Now, I will say when it comes to proposals, I'm drastically disappointed because Microsoft commandeered the technology that was just really good at kind of taking what I'm trying to say and putting it into something more compelling, right?
Mhm.
And I find that Chat GPT has been a little scant in meeting that need. So now find myself using a combination of multiple tools for the same thing. Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, we have, all right. So like it's a little harder if you don't understand the compliance, the necessities, and the things that you're trying to say in a proposal. Um, there are some good softwares out there. They're still not like 100% great,
Yeah,
but
they're not
they're
perfect.
also not cheap.
Right.
Because it's not easily accessible and they're still in the beginning stages. But I mean, they have one that like we were looking at it the other day, RFP 360,
Mhm.
where it kind of
Heard of
just
that?
has a database of all content outlines and everything that you've ever written in a proposal. It just kind of like harbors all that information and it comes up with an approach for you based on each and every single solicitation that you populate in there. And you can organize your, key personnel, you can organize your structure, your organizational charts, your graphics, everything can be in there. So you could submit a solicitation and
Mhm.
it'll pop out a compliance matrix based on the requirements and just prompts of like should and will and things of that magnitude, right?
Yeah.
And then you can then request for it to come up with an outline. But nonetheless, if you don't know what you're looking for, there can be plenty of errors in there that I guess it's the twofold, right? Like you depend on the software, but what if the software fails? You don't know enough to check it.
To know
So
it fails.
yeah,
Yeah. That is kind of a double-edged sword. So
yeah.
we're not saying to use AI as your pilot, always as your co-pilot. And our audience has a couple of great suggestions. Jamila, hey Jamila, she uses AI in her RFQs. She says she loves our sessions. Thank you so much for watching. Sarah says for graphic files, make sure you don't have any compliant material in there because it isn't searchable. Good call.
Mhm.
And she also says Rogue is amazing and it's dirt cheap. So I haven't used Rogue yet, but I'm seeing it all over my LinkedIn.
Oh,
They're definitely hitting it on the marketing. I'm gonna have to try it out though.
yes.
Anyone else use Rogue that have any experience? Feel free to pop on YouTube and join in on the chat. I'd love to hear what you guys love about it. Um, any
Uh,
AIs that you found that are good for something like pricing yet? Or are we not there yet?
honestly, I don't think we're there yet. But
I
um
build pricing templates in Monday, and I know you build them in Excel.
yeah.
Um, do we really even need AI? We have formula columns for that.
Yeah, I mean, I still use Excel. I use smart sheets. I use smart sheets. There you go. There's
There you
AI
go.
in that.
There
So
is definitely AI in there.
I use the smart sheets and it makes my life a lot easier. But there is even though I do use Excel, there are Excel what is the name of it? Ugh. There are Excel AI tools. So as a CPA, I'm literally just cringing saying this out loud, but my job has been taken away from me so easily. Um, there is an Excel, and I will find the name of it and I will post it in the comments, but there is an Excel software that will create the formulas for you. You just tell it in the prompt what you want it to do. And it will
Monday.com does that too.
Oh, her and her shameless plugs. So you just tell her,
Hey
hey,
guys, she uses the software. Can I just put that out there? She already has the tool at her fingertips. She uses something else. I don't understand.
it's comfortability. I've used Excel for 20 years. It's my best friend. Um, So it essentially creates it for you. So you could put in your P&L because, obviously if you want to come up with indirect rates, right? You want to know how much is your actual fringe overhead, you want to be able to calculate that. And yeah, there's a million things you can go online and pull. It's just harder. It's unnecessary. You can literally tell it, calculate my indirect rates, my essentially my wrap rate, which is our, the multiplier. And it will, and you download your P&L statement and it'll give you your rates like in 2 seconds, your actual rates, what your cost is, based on the expenses in your company so that it can make sure that you're actually covering your costs. So I will
Really
plug
cool.
that in because
That's
that's the
really cool.
only thing I found that is really, really cool. And I got to tell you, used to take me hours and hours and hours to calculate an indirect rate back in the olden times before ChatGPT. No, I don't look that old, but it's a time saver. So that, yeah.
So I'm looking at Rogue, and Rogue is $750 a month for the starter plan, billed annually. Professional is $1250 a month with that, which actually comes with quarterly one-on-one coaching and a bunch of other stuff. Compliance matrix generator. So if you wanted to
Love
generate your
that.
compliance matrix, you're looking at $1250 a month. Not it's not essentially affordable for a small business who's kind of just starting out. But definitely a huge time saver if you're dumping a lot of money into a proposal development team, maybe running the Shipley method. I would absolutely invest in that, if I were bidding at that capacity in the services industry.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I know 750 sounds like a lot, but if you're bidding like 2, 3 proposals, and once you start getting into like that groove of things, that's actually a lifesaver because I would say our average proposal cost is anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 per proposal. And that's because everyone's certified in Shipley or APMPs, like you're paying more for quality. This you'll learn how to do it yourself. And B, you'll have a whole lot of support and a coach, and you'll save money in the long run. So invest
We
your money
don't get
wisely.
anything for recommending this to you guys. We're just literally here sharing information, with, of course, the exception, oh, wrong one, of Monday.com, because I am a partner.
Though if
Um,
Rogue wants to reach out, I'm totally available.
Natasha wants to be a rogue partner.
I'll give it
Um,
a
I do. I've been kind of getting into softwares lately. I'm a huge data nerd as it is, and just the way how far we've come with what we're able to do with data is pretty intense. I'm not at all worried about it replacing a human. I mean, at the end of the day, if we can, do some of the tedious tasks, like proposal part of it, we can get more done. We can be more efficient and a lot faster as long as we're using it appropriately. You want to make sure that you're feeding it the information that's going to be relevant, that differentiates you. Otherwise, your contracting officers are going to be reviewing a whole bunch of proposals that basically have the same
answer.
executive summary and the same answers to the same questions. AI is not a replacement for a human. So
Yeah.
definitely make sure you're not having it do all of your work for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say like it is you're in an age where it's such a gift to be able to have it.
Mhm.
I will say because coming up with that content just out of nowhere is much harder. So you're given a template and you can tailor it. You know, I think that it's such an amazing thing where you can kind of tell Chat GPT, which is not very expensive. As a small business, you can utilize that and say, this is my business, give it a little summary, beefing the summary up and make it an executive summary for a proposal to the USDA, right? And it will do that.
Larry, yep, it
You know
will.
what I mean? And so the right there, you can tell it like I would like a paragraph or 2 paragraphs, and it will provide that to you. So you can sound professional and provide good technical writing, and it doesn't have to sound like everyone else's approach. You can say, this is what we would do in our company if given the, contract. This is what our technical approach would be. These are the steps that we would take. Can you write this into a technical approach for this particular proposal? You can even upload the proposal and the scope of work to ChatGPT, so I can make sure that it adheres to it and that it's, addressing all the components that are required when it gives you its response. So go a little deeper, play with it a little more, tailor it a little more so it's specifically to your company, but it's definitely a way that's going to leverage and help you create proposals if you don't have the funds or the means right now to, outsource that.
Yeah, I gotta say $20 a month. I mean,
Hmm.
pretty much every business can afford that.
Hmm.
I also use it for like risk assessment. I was kind of talking about this a little bit before the show, but I'll feed it, like Natasha said, the scope of work um, versus my response, and I'll ask it to identify gaps. What did I hit hard? What did I miss the mark on? Provide suggestions for improvements. So it doesn't always have to be a copy and paste, guys. That's, I think, what my point
Yeah.
is use the AI to save yourself time and to check yourself, because we are all humans, we make mistakes, right? So there's a lot of things that I've been able to catch that I didn't see the first 81 times I looked at it.
Yeah, no.
Oh, Lydell, thanks for joining us. Lydell said great idea on calculating rates. And I asked ChatGPT to generate an outline for a proposal submission and did surprisingly good job. Yeah,
Good.
and I gotta say, I do that a lot. And also like working with it in sections
Hmm.
tends to be more effective than like large things all at once. It's almost like it has computing overload and oh, I can't do that. But then if you break it down and you give it little smaller bites and ask it very specific questions, you
Yes.
usually get closer to the answer that you want.
Create that outline and then just go based on each point that you're trying to make. Technical approach, your management plan, your staffing plan. Um, you can even ask it for suggestions. I had one company of like, I don't know who to staff for this particular opportunity. What are those labor categories? I was like, great questions. That's ChatGPT. And they gave you suggestions. You want a project manager, you want a financial analyst, you want a project manager, and it'll give you the roles, responsibilities, um, the suggested professional job description. I mean, down to the T. So it it's definitely a tool that you can leverage to not only help you write a proposal, but also plan for the actual project when you are awarded it, to create the schedule and the project plan and how you're going to move forward with it so you're not so in the weeds.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. Um, and also, let's not forget about communication, right?
Oh
When
yeah.
ChatGPT first came out, everybody's emails started with, I hope this finds you well. So now
Everyone
what's
got real
happened?
professional real fast.
Yeah. Now what happens is the spam filters, like the spam bots, are picking up on emails that start
Yeah.
that way and marking them as spam. So
Yeah.
even, again, your co-pilot, don't just copy and paste what chat gpt spits out. Make it your own, edit it, massage it, curate it, whatever you need to do so that it doesn't look like everyone else's, and so
Yeah.
that you don't hit the spam filter if you're using it for email
Oh,
correspondence.
yes. I remember. I had someone who used to just do three sentences and the most like unempathetic emails ever, just straight to the point. And then one day it was the nicest,
The clouds
longest,
parted.
right? Like it was just like, what is this and who wrote it?
I've
Just
gotten a
know that
few of those.
contracting officers are aware. All right. So
Yeah, they know, they can tell when y'all use Chat GPT. That's why I say try not to make it completely
Curious.
obvious. Like, yeah. I've actually in different cases have fed it similar prompts for similar use cases, and it would spit out the exact same text. So if we're all answering the same requirement on the same proposal in the same industry, it
Mhm.
could literally be giving us all mirroring responses. So keep that in mind as you proceed. And I also noticed that I'm in one of those Facebook groups for ChatGPT. And I get a kick out of, all the AI techies when the newbies come in and they're like, how do I get ChatGPT to do this? And they're like, ask it. Don't forget that you can ask AI how to use AI and it will tell
AI,
you,
yeah.
right? Like, um, ask it for sample prompts. Ask
Mhm.
it, what's the best way to frame a prompt if I'm trying to get this outcome? there's you can get really creative with it, play around with it. It can be your friend if you know how to use it correctly.
Yes. I think also, I think I'd be remiss if we didn't mention bid matching softwares like GovTribe. We have, like GovTribe, GovWin. I mean, there's quite a few where they will look up opportunities based on your NICS code, based on your keywords and all that stuff, but it will provide you so much more than sam.gov. It'll give you ideas of competition, of people that will be going after it, of the same opportunity that you are. Will give you market analysis of, who the contracting officer is, who do they normally sell to, what is, their essentially their trending. And then it'll also give you kind of like AI summaries of the work. So instead of having to read the whole scope of work, it'll just give you like a paragraph and be like, essentially, this is what they want you to do. Like it'll just make your life so much easier. So you don't have to read like all 40 pages. You could just read that summary and be like, I don't want to do this. And then scroll to the next one. So it's a lot of, I would say when you're starting out, and I think it is just in general, when you're looking up opportunities, I want to say about 40 to 50% of your time, and in the beginning, probably 60 to 70, is looking up opportunities that you qualify for and that you feel like you have a really good chance at, right? And there's so many. There's so many. You're going through them. So that is such a time saver. So eventually, when you get to that point where you can afford a bid matching, software, it's definitely a really good investment, especially with the AI tools.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw that it was in my higher gov. It showed me sort of I guess by AI, I assume by AI, who the likely suspects were on an upcoming proposal that I'm looking at. So
Yep.
I thought that was really handy. And you're starting to see it kind of pop up everywhere. Everybody's using it and implementing it in different ways. So kind of excited to see where it goes. I am kind of bummed out that now I have to use so many different ones because remember, you've got that core technology.
Hmm.
uh, it's a language learning model, so you've got to teach it, and then you can apply that same technology in different spaces, right? So that's why there's so many different sort of products that have similar technology, but they're kind of custom trained a different way, is the way that
Yeah.
I understand it anyway.
Yeah.
um let's see if there's anything else on this list that we didn't hit. We did data and insights, algorithms and key information. We kind of talked about that already. I think I talked about the gap analysis. Um, Anybody in the audience have any other ways that we did mention today that you guys are using and finding success in AI, or any questions, any trouble that you might be having that you want to bring up and talk about? We've got like 7 minutes left.
Well, we'll plug in your Monday.com in here. Collaboration tools. So not
Ah,
everything is just about bidding and winning, right? Let's be real. It's also about building your sales pipeline. It's also about marketing. It's also about organization. It's also about collaboration with your team, your vendors, your contracting officers, and then creating schedules, calendars, plans. I like to have a proposal schedule. Because let's be real, you have site visits, you have, teams
pay
meetings,
periods,
you
yes.
have proposal due dates, you have question due dates. So I like to create a calendar that pulls from my sales pipeline. Um, those are all AI tools that you can utilize to leverage and make your life easier and organize it.
Absolutely. Sarah asked, I'd love to hear some prompt ideas. So my favorite, I will say, as far as prompt, is telling GPT to act as a. So if I'm writing a proposal, I'm going to tell Chat GPT to act as a technical writer and provide me with A, B, and C using X, Y, Z as like I'm asking it for something, but I'm also feeding it something at the same time. But telling it to act as a whatever sort of that role or whatever the task you're using it for. I've said social media manager, act as a social media manager and create an email marketing campaign and a 3-touch email marketing campaign and 3 social media posts for this event titled this with this description. Oh, by the way, rewrite my description. So
Mhm.
play around with the act as a insert title here and see if that doesn't give you a better output, and then kind of massage that by feeding it tidbits of information. Also, let's not forget, ask ChatGPT what might be the best prompt for this use case. That would
Mm-hmm.
definitely be another good way to get it.
Mm.
Um, and I gotta say, one that I almost forgot to mention that everybody has been raving about, even my clients after my coaching sessions. They're like, I love how you're sending the meeting summaries with the action items. You're keeping me organized.
I just
I'm
said that.
finally accountable. Actually, my Read AI, it joins all my meetings. And then before the next meeting with that client or that individual or that team, I'll get an email that tells me everything that we did the last meeting, what my action items were, and that I've actually even automated that Read AI report into my Monday board,
Yep.
into the client's account. Like super nerd.
An email all the time of the notes.
Mhm.
And I was telling Ashley, I'm so glad I don't do that anymore because that used to be my job 10 years ago. I would be jobless right now.
Yeah, I gotta say, you definitely would be because I actually, up until I discovered that tool, considered having my assistant come in and
Yeah.
put my task in my Monday board, make sure I don't forget anything. But then I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh,
And it
seriously.
does it right. Let's be real. I used to do it all wrong.
It does
Definitely.
do it right.
You have human error, like you miss things. This, it gets it all. And then it gives you information you didn't even think about that you can utilize. I'm like, this is the nicest note taker, and it's so quick. I used to wait like 3 days before you got action items. Now I get it as soon as you're done.
It tells me the quality of the call, like
Yeah,
how
it was
well my
great.
information was received, how well I articulated myself, the readability. Like it's just,
Mhm.
I have so much data.
I know. And with that data,
Yes.
you can make real change and you can start moving in progress like so much
Yes.
faster. So
Yes.
it's amazing.
And not to mention, it keeps everybody accountable, right? I'm a big fan of doing what I say I'm going to do. And also, I expect the same from others in return. So,
Oh, yeah.
um, it definitely has been a game changer when, oh, you didn't tell me that. I wasn't, well, it says right here in the meeting notes from last week.
I just record everybody, but yeah, I guess I'll start using it. I was like,
um, I'm gonna record this now. Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm infamous. We all know I'm infamous for
Mhm.
forgetting to hit the record button. So, I don't have to even bother with that anymore. So it's another thing I appreciate.
That is cool.
All right. So everyone in the chat has piped down. Do you have any last minute thoughts for our audience?
I don't. I think everyone's been doing really good with the AI component. Like at first it was like a huge wave, and as we see things changing and all these new softwares and new ideas are coming up, and ways that we can leverage and make life easier for ourselves, I think it'd be really good for everyone to kind of look into taking an AI course. um I think if anybody could do anything, that would be really, you should learn so much about the world that we're in, right? It's always like, learn or get left behind. There are ways that you can learn to utilize AI that's going to help you in your business so that you don't have to hire people to do it for you if technology can cut the cost, you know what I mean? um so take a course. That's my advice to everybody. Take an AI course, learn more about these tools that you can utilize. I know in our group, we put like all the chat GPT softwares we think of. We try to put as much information as possible, but try to take a course, learn and get ahead of the game because it's definitely going to help you and save you some money. And I think that's all we really want nowadays, especially with everything costing so much.
At the end of the day, I mean, let's be real. If you are hiring a proposal writer on a freelance platform, nine
Mm.
times out of 10, they're using ChatGPT anyway.
God,
So
don't even. I have
you
seen it.
can you can skip the expense and use it yourself and probably
Mhm.
um, hit the nail on the head a little harder.
Yeah, yes. And honestly, um, when you hire proposal writers, I gotta tell you, and this is not, I hit on proposal writers because I am one too, but I've gone through a fair share of them, and not all of them are amazing. and just, they'll charge you $150 to $200 an hour and it won't be the best work. Only you know your business. I think we always kind of push that here, is that you know your business better than anyone. Who's going to write better about you than you?
It
Use
makes a whole
ChatGPT for
lot more
that.
sense. Yes, it makes a whole lot more sense to curate that content with
Mhm.
ChatGPT, build your library, then hand that off to
Yes.
someone when you have a massive amount of winning responses. Essentially, now you're
Mhm.
giving someone else the keys to take those winning responses, and maybe they're going to have to edit them, but by and large your library of content is going to follow you. It's going to grow with you throughout the life of your business. So AI is just another tool that can help you get there faster.
Amen. Get
All right, ladies and gents, it was a pleasure. If
it.
you guys have any recommendations for topics, if we have anyone joining who would like to be a guest, you can go onto our website at govconhacks.com/podcast, and at the bottom, fill out the form. So
Thank
thank
you
you,
guys.
everyone. See you next week. Bye.